The sun had barely cracked the horizon when the last of the holiday pals boarded the return flight to Manchester. They wore sunglasses despite the early hour, hiding bloodshot eyes and emotions more raw than they'd care to admit. For most passengers, it was just the end of a wild week in Tenerife. But for this group, it marked the conclusion of a trip that had spiraled into a nightmare, one that left more questions than answers. Jay Slater was missing, and nobody could explain exactly why. Jay had always been the life of the party. Just 19, fresh-faced with that reckless glint so common in boys who hadn't yet been beaten down by the world. He'd come on the trip with two mates, excited for sun, shots, and stories to last a lifetime. And for the first few days, it was exactly that. Instagram lit up with shirtless beach pics, glittery club stories, and inside jokes that only people drenched in drink and dopamine could find funny. But then came that night. The night with them, the mysterious duo who appeared from nowhere and vanished just as quickly. Lena and Marcus. At least that's what they said their names were. Jay met them outside a club in the strip of Las Americas. Lena, tall and pale with hair like spun gold, was all charm and sly smiles. Marcus, quieter, with a lean, watchful face. Tourists too, apparently, though no one ever quite figured out where they were staying. Or if they were even tourists at all. Jay's mates remembered him saying, "These two are sound. Reckon I'll go chill with them for a bit." He never came back. The Spanish police were methodical but slow. Language barriers, inconsistent witness accounts, and a party culture built on forgetfulness all hampered the search. Jay had last been seen walking out of a villa in the early morning hours, heading toward the Parque Rural de Teno, a remote, rugged area of Tenerife not known for parties. Locals said it wasn't a place you'd casually wander into. The texts he sent that morning made little sense. Battery dying. Lost, no idea where I am. Then silence. Back in the UK, his mother Debbie was frantic. She flew out immediately, her face plastered across every tabloid and news segment. "My boy doesn't just vanish," she told reporters. "Somebody knows what happened to him." She wasn't wrong. What baffled everyone was Lena and Marcus, the pair last seen with Jay, returned to the UK quietly, almost too quietly. They were stopped at the airport but released without charge. Not suspects, the Spanish authorities said. Just witnesses. Witnesses to what? Nobody had seen them before that night. No hotel check-ins. No passport records, at least none made public. And after they landed at Gatwick, they disappeared again. Ghosts in a city already crowded with strangers. But one of Jay's friends, Callum, swore there was more to it. They weren't just randoms, he insisted. Jay said Marcus had a weird energy. Like intense. Said he talked about spirits and parallel realities. We all thought he was just messing about. Theories began swirling online. Were Lena and Marcus part of a cult? Was Jay lured into the mountains for a ritual? Did he stumble onto something he wasn't supposed to see? Some even claimed Lena was spotted on a beach in Portugal a week later, alone, barefoot, staring out to sea. The tabloids went into a frenzy. But for Debbie Slater, there was no time for theories. No patience for viral threads and podcast speculations. She just wanted her son home. He wasn't stupid, she said in a trembling voice during a live interview. If he'd gotten lost, he would have been found. Somebody did something. And they know. They know. Back in the UK, Lena and Marcus avoided the spotlight. But one sharp-eyed journalist, working for a Sunday magazine, tracked down an address linked to a rental car in Marcus's name. It was a flat in Croydon. He knocked. Waited. A woman answered. Not Lena. Not Marcus. She claimed not to know them. But inside the flat, past her shoulder, was a photo on the wall. A group selfie. In it stood Lena, unmistakable in her gold hair and serpent tattoo. Next to her was Marcus, grinning with a look that seemed somehow out of place. Between them, in the back row, was Jay Slater, mouth open mid-laugh, arms thrown around them like old friends. The photo was dated 2 days before they met Jay in Tenerife. The police reopened inquiries, or so it was said. But weeks passed, and no one was arrested. The Slater family grew quiet, drained beyond words, worn down by dead ends and sympathetic nods from officials who clearly didn't have a clue. Jay's friends tried to move on, but the memory lingered like a splinter, especially for Callum. On the anniversary of Jay's disappearance, Callum returned to Tenerife alone. He walked the same path toward the park, phone in hand, voice recorder on. He wanted answers. Closure. Something. Anything. At the edge of the forest, where the gravel road ends and the green thickets begin, he found a small wooden charm hanging from a tree branch. A talisman. Worn and crude. A spiral carved into it. The same spiral Marcus had tattooed on his neck. Callum reached out to touch it, and the forest seemed to go quiet. Not silent. Just listening. That night, back at his hotel, Callum uploaded the photo of the talisman to a subreddit devoted to missing persons and strange cases. An hour later, he received a private message.